Another day, another fabulous day. Walking out to the bunny. Another day, and another day. Well, friends and family, we start again. Walking the path of enjoying life. Today marks a special day. Mi tía Berta, she left to Yuma to go do the maintenance. Hopefully she gets to get well. She comes back better. Hopefully it doesn't turn to the worst, but I guess that's we're gonna pray. So if anybody's out there and wants to remember how to pray, Princess. Esta cabrona. Oh. She was right here. So, I want everybody to know that I love my tia Berta, and not only pray for her, but I'll pray for Janelle. My tia Lisa's still here. I don't know if she's gonna stay or she's already gonna leave. My tia Lisa came to help Berta. No quiere comer, no tiene fuerzas, no tiene ganas. Yesterday, we spent a day with her. It was awesome. Hopefully she doesn't get sick right now with the heat over there, and she comes back to us. But if Jesus Christ quiere llevársela, just want her to know that we love her, and we'll still need her, but if she needs us, we're here for her. So, well, going to another story. Today I want to talk about a story about how I grew up. See, the way I grew up was my mom and my dad got separated, and I ended up having a lot of time. And I moved to my grandma's house. I already told you Jaime's, Gil's. I already told you a couple stories. And today I want to talk about Sandra. Sandra and me and Sandra, we've always fought and argued. We've always see who has authority. Obviously, she's always been there for me and always helped me. And regardless of whatever I think about her, I love her. I love her because she's put up with all of us. And when we were growing up, I used to be a youngster, and we used to live in Quinn Street, and Berta had her car, that Nissan that I talk about, and Sandra got the keys, and we parked it from the right hand side of the street to the left hand side of the street. Well, we got pulled over, just turning the car, and that was our first time. Me, Sandra, and Rachel got a ticket. And I guess que si nos regañaron, you know. But the one who took the brunt was Sandra. And then after that, when I was growing up, they moved out of the projects and they moved to Corona. Then from Corona, they moved to Bear Street. a little petite studio. But in that studio, we used to pack it. It's with Sandra, Stephanie, my grandma, my grandpa, Miguel, Jojo. Then it was me. And on top of it, like I said, Jaime and Bird, Caleb. Everybody used to show up. And then we had outside, we had gangsters. And that's where I said my goodbyes to Jaime. The last time I ever got to see him was there. And it was an impression. And he stood out throughout the memories. And I remember everybody used to go there. Like I said, Yoli and Rachel, Jaime, they went to school together and they used to always be together. And well, remember a day, se metió Miguel, Jojo, and then Taco and Bird, and we went to the Bell, and we were partying, and at the same time they were doing a robbery, and they ended up doing the robbery across the room from us, right there in Bell Inn to be exact. And they robbed people. Can't say their names, but they robbed these people, and they showed them what a gangster was. You know, they had to put their name out there, and they did. Well, they left the room, the one across the room from ours, and Sandra and Anthony, which is Anthony Sniper, aka known as gangster now, but back in the days he was a sniper. And him and Sandra were in that room, and probably that's how Anthony was born. And what you call it, we had the bucket, and me, Taco, Bird, and Miguel, and people from up there, Sandra, the up there girl, you know. And remember, she had beautiful white Levi's, and we ended up having the time of my life. I'd never been in an orgy. I'd never been with multiple guys and girls together in a room, and everybody flaunting their stuff and fucking acting like they're invincible and they're the best in the world. And everybody's covering up in their sheets, and it was the best orgy ever in my entire life. Well, my first one, to be exact. Well, I remember that the police got there, and my grandpa started screaming and saying, "Ya sal de ahí, cabrón, ya sal de ahí, cabrón." And sales o te saco, hijo de la chingada. And my grandpa estaba bien encabronado. Vino mi tío Gilberto, and my grandpa, my grandma, mi tía Alicia, todos, you know, berta, vinieron and gritaban que sal. And I knew that voice. I said, fuck, they caught me. First orgy and I got caught. I was like, my God. And I remember Taco was spinning his manguera all over, you know. And I go, what the fuck is that? And it's like, fuck, man, go out there, you know. Fuck, let me finish right here, you know. And I was like, I fucking going out there, me van a chingar. The fucking little youngster, you know. And Taco, like, in middle action, he got up. Parecía un ghost. Se puso la sábana. And Bird jumped in and took over his place. And Taco just like grabbed me. Hey, you know what? Some shit happens, I'm gonna fuck you up. Y que esto y esto aquello. And I was like, fuck, I didn't know what to do, what to say. And 2-3 seconds later, the manager comes up and opens the door, and it wasn't for me. It wasn't for Miguel. It was for Anthony and Sandra. They got them and they dragged them out. Not sure they arrested Anthony or something. And I don't know what happened, but they took out Sandra and Anthony out of that room. And I was just looking through the window, the little hole, and I said, fucking thank God. But Taco goes, hey, well, you got saved on this one. Ahora te toca a ti. And he me aventó al guamazo, you know. And he told me, hey, you know, don't pull out, just keep going, you know, become a man, you know. And I remember he was slapping my ass and punking me and everything, and I got down. I was like the Energizer Bunny. They had to like yank me out. It was like, that's it. She's tired. I was like, fuck. I said, I want more, you know. I was about 14, 15. And ever since that day, we used to have orgies, parties, and we could share girls and do trains and trains and anything you needed, you know, I was available. And it was awesome, man. Well, I'm back to Sandra. We used to hang out, because Sandra didn't know how to drive and I knew how to drive. And they used to have a red Celica, and then they had the bucket, but the red Celica was a standard car. It was actually Miguel's car. And we used to go here and there on it. And then my mom had a Granada car. And we used to go everywhere on it. To borrow the car and everything. That car has history. Pero ahí te va. Well, me and Sandra, we used to go with Mickey. Mickey is a sister of a sniper. And then we used to go with Conejo, and then go to the grandma's over there in Compton, where the Falletas, Florencia is at. And we used to party. We used to party right there in front of también with the train tracks, or we used to party over here on Florence and probably State or wherever that Tommy's is at, right in front. Those apartments. And we used to go up the emergency staircase up. And then me and Miguel, we used to go hit up on Riverside, the campus, and we used to slang over there. And we used to go in the middle of the night, me and Anthony, and we had to deliver the shit. And we'll go to the campus with all girls. It was a girls' campus, and make sure that they didn't see us or anything, because now we couldn't have business anymore. Then after that, we used to go to Salt Lake Park, and that's where I met Sylvia's sister and Sylvia's mom. They used to have an Astro, and they used to patrol. Ashley was born, and one of those days, Sandra being Sandra, she used to always put me on the party line, a hotline. She introduced me to a couple girls, and she used to like get your thrills on, get your whoopie, you know, become hip, you know. And she always hooked me up with her friends. She's not a hater or nothing. She was always looking out for us, like making sure that we're not loners and we like girls, you know. So I'm always grateful to her for that. And one night, we're gonna go to Victorville, and we end up going Sniper, me, and Big Joe. Big Joe is Anthony's big brother, and we're in a car. At that time, I didn't know what a G-Ride was. Well, we end up stopping in the middle of the, like, you could call it a desert. It was a 4-point stop, and we see this beautiful Regal, and Joe got off with a bat. He started fucking smacking them down, and he carjacked them. And I remember Sandra had to drive back, and she was driving all fast and crazy, and Anthony was next to her, and I was in the back seat. And Joe was following us, but then he took off a different way because he didn't want to bring heat to us. So we carjacked that car. That was the first time I ever carjacked. Well, was there when they carjacked somebody. Got his ass beat up with a bat, and he broke the glass, and he yanked them out of the car and left them in the middle of the highway. And after that, me and Sandra, we had a little more relationship, and I had helped my mom move to West Covina, and Sandra and Anthony, my grandpa, and everybody was against them. And they used to go visit us. Well, we used to go visit my mom, and we used to go to the alley over there. It's a skating ring, and I taught Anthony how to skate. Sandra, you know, obviously she knew, but we used to stop at Albertsons or Rouse, and I've never seen nobody, absolutely nobody, that could go in there and feed himself and steal fucking eggs. He could literally steal like a pack of 12 eggs, put them in his jacket. Back then we used to use County Frisco's, Van Davis. We used to use like big jackets and big ass fucking pants. We're like a size 30 and there were 50s, you know? So you could fucking, it was like a valise, you know? And you could practically put anything in there. We used to crease them up. Anthony used to dress like a gangster. It was always like sharp, built like a fucking machine. He was tough and he looked good, you know, like someone to get impressed, you know, when we were growing up. And Conejo also used to dress to impress. And Conejo, I say me and Conejo have more stories than me and Anthony. Because me and Conejo, we used to fight each other. And there was one special day that we started another one that wanted to be with Yoli. And we raced to the corner right there, my tia, right down on my Vista place. And we ended up running all the way to Pacific. And the brats and all these gangsters that he was gang banging with against, they seen us, and they chased us down. And I remember that we seen Jojo, and we got in the car and they chased us down, and we got away. We didn't get killed or anything, and we used to get high like a motherfuckers. And I'm back to Sandra. Back then, Stephanie's dad is Bert from Rosehill, and me, I had delivered some furniture because they bought some furniture though. But I used to always fight against Rosehill. And China, my homegirl, she's from the projects down, or Diablo, and she used to hang around with Bert a lot. Bert he used to slang. He used to be like the main vato from them, you know. And once I found out we were like technically family, he looked up to me, I looked up to him, and we never argued after that. We never fought each other because we thought we were family, you know, regardless of the situation or whatever. It was a one-night stand, him and Sandra, so he didn't really love Sandra. He got married with his hyena, and he had nice cars. That's one thing. He used to live the house before the projects, right there by Monterey Park. And well, coming back to Sandra, me and Sandra, we used to drive up and down, gang banging, we used to call it. We used to be for Victory Outreach. We used to be gangsters there. And Sandra used to always try to challenge me and say, you ain't fucking tough, you ain't a gangster, you know. And we got to right there on Gage and State, and I said, you know what, I'll prove it to you. Next guy we see, I'll fuck him up. Well, we had a red light, and she looked up to the bus stop, and she go, well, what about that guy? And I was in the car, so I said, you know what, fuck you, I said, fuck you, you're lucky you're walking, I'm in the car, if not, I would have fucked you up. He stood up. It was like 6'6". It was a fucking heavy metal guy, big boots, fucking crazy motherfucker, long hair and fucking knives and chains and fucking eyes piercings and I'm all, I mean, he was fucking scary. He fucking got up, I fucking raced the window, and I said, Sandra, let's get the fuck out of here. Nah. You fucking say you're gonna fuck him up. And he's like hitting the window, fucking shaking the car, got a big ass bubble gum, fucking threw it to the fucking window, almost broke it. And he's like, get the fuck out the car. And I'm like, Sandra, get the fuck out of here. And he's like, nah. She's cracking up and laughing. And I'm fucking scared for my life. Finally, the light turns green and we take off. And the guy's like kicking the car and get the fuck out. You know, it's like, I'm like, Sandra, let's leave. I'm over there. And then Sandra just, to this day, she still cracks up and laughs at me. Like, hey, you tough. That's like, fuck. So don't ever do something with Sandra, because Sandra's gonna put you to the test. And she also, her and Miguel told me to give a kiss to Sylvia's sister, and just to grab her and kiss her, you know. And I practiced, you know. I was on the party line with Benedict. I used to, like, that was flirting, thought I was a shit. And she ended up coming over, and we already had talked a little bit. And first thing I knew, I grabbed her and I kissed her. And Ashley was in Pampers, and the grandma, which is the mom, not the grandma, the mom, she ended up coming on the Astro van, and she seen me kissing her and like grabbing her. They came and slapped me and put me to place, and I was all in shame and all scared, you know. I thought it was like, fuck, what did I do? It's like I did what you told me, and I got my ass beat up by 3 women. And Sylvia and everybody, they all forgave me. They didn't bring it up no more. And the sister, I never got to see her again. About 20 years later, I got to see her one time. And she's like, what's up? And but it was a nice experience. Well, me and Sandra, we grew up, like I said, riding bikes with Jojo and partying y toda la cosa. And we always look at the mirror, make sure that we're good looking and we're like sharp. And everybody always laughs because they think we're conceited. We just like our appearance looking good, you know. Well, along the way, she always had friends, and her friends, always been with all her friends. She had a Rosario. Everybody was in love with her. Danny, Jojo, Miguel. Miguel ended up being with her, and but she was fine. And then Sandra's next door neighbor, I ended up being with her too, but they're both psychos, like crazy girls, you know. And we'll leave it at that, you know. But she's always hooked me up and always been there for me and always shown me the ropes. I think she's done a lot for me. She's always crashing. She's always getting herself in a jam. We used to have a Cavalier, fucking Cavalier. She used to crash it every week. She'd get an insurance job on it, and or mechanics. She was always like hip to the game. She always had like a come up, you know, and we always made it happen. And now we've distanced ourselves because she got too religious, too very negative in life, you know. Now her and Stephanie are doing good. They started first, Jojo, Sandra, and Berta, JBS, and I used to go visit them, and they were always picking on Jojo or fighting amongst each other. Haz de cuenta que éramos guajalotes all day, all night, arguing, fighting. But they were hustlers, man. They used to go hustle the hospitals, the schools. Then they got into the party. They got into renting houses, apartments, like a scam. Then they got into the La Condina. Then they started another scam. I mean, Sandra's always been involved wherever the money's at. And regardless, she's always made money and cared for everybody, especially her kids, but in reality, everybody. She's never, if she had food, she'll feed her kids first, but she always make a little extra for us. Even though que nos regañaba and hustling us and getting mad at us, but we always had a home with her, and I've always been grateful. Sandra ended up taking care of my grandma when my grandpa died. And the day my grandpa died, me and her got in an argument. And I didn't think I was ever gonna forgive her again. And she ended up apologizing, and because she wants her way and I want my way. We're like two alike. You know, Stephanie has the same attitude. She thinks she's down, but she's not down, you know. We just, her mom's put up the work and done the job. That's why I respect her, you know. Yeah, me and Sandra, we end up having a little falling out and a little argument, but we got back on track. And world was up. My grandma ended up moving to her house when my grandpa died, so I had to see her. And seeing Sandra, it's kind of hard because she's too bossy. She thinks she's like hip and everything, you know. I love her and I appreciate everything she's done for me, but she's a little overboard sometimes. I guess me too, okay, in reality. But yeah, we used to play tournaments, and we said we're all gonna go to hell because that's from the devil. And then now she plays cards. We do pendejada, argument, fights, and we're all gonna hell. And she fights, she argues, and también todo. I told her, what happened with you? She goes, oh, everybody has a little hiccups. I'm like, shh. She's always thinking for her and for her kids. Son codos, but they're always there, and she's always organizing and making sure that the food everybody has the same amount. She has the better part. She serves her first, and then al que encanse, but she always makes it happen. I've always been proud of her. And if you're hearing this, Sandra, I am proud of you, eh? I do love you. And I do love her kids a lot. They're something to be. I mean, you get confused sometimes, because sometimes you think that they care for you, but they only care for themselves. Sacaron a Sandra. And the only one that I'm not really close no more is Antoinette, because she became religious, hardcore. She's keeping herself a little distance. We see her on occasions, some big occasions, but she's keeping herself in a little distance, you know, which is good. I mean, she had to do her life. She has to have her family, and her family is her God, her church. Even though we say we believe in the same God, but it's not the same God. And me and Sandra, like I said, ella sacó a mi abuelita dormilona y metiche. And it's nice having a family member that you can always lean on and ask for a real opinion and to tell you the truth. Someone that's gonna criticize you, judge you, but at the same time be there for you. And that's who Sandra is. I'm grateful, thankful for her being a part of my family and allowing us to grow together. Even though she gets mad and gets frustrated, she never forgets where she came from. She's from the hood, and she's always looking out. So that's more or less how I know Sandra. Little character, little traviesa. I say she wouldn't have found God, she probably would have been a gangster, and her kids would have been dead or in jail. But she puts her mind to something and she accomplishes it. And right now she's doing real good, like real good. And I'm proud of her. I'm really proud of her. And even though we still argue with each other, but I'm always grateful and always looking up to her and always respecting her. I always try to accommodate her, not argue too much with her and give her her way. The one that gets out of hand is little Stephanie, but ¿qué podemos hacer, you know? But that's the story. Next time is another story.